like, oh, you bring pirates, I bring pirates. We ban pirates, but it didn't happen in the last series that we saw. Do you think it will happen in this series?
It's hard to say. That Ahri Bard, sometimes when you bring a deck like that, it throws a curveball into your opponent's tournament prep. And if they're unsure about how a list operates or what their matchups into it are, they're going to ban it to be safe. And it looks like Mayo did let the Pirates through, feeling perhaps very confident that, hey, if I swarm the board enough, I can just block these Pirates down and it's not going to be a big issue. The trouble with this list is that you have to not only block, you have to have a little bit of healing as well to overcome that burn damage.
Yeah, I mean, we have to kind of find healing. We have the ability to do so, right? Norra having access to almost every unit in the game. There must be some lifesteal units in that pot. So chances are not zero that we can find it. But yeah, I think the deck in and of itself has no access to healing unless we draw Nami, unless we get the Nami ebb and flow going, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need the portal to find something like a Sparkle Fly or
Potentially, yeah.
Fledgling Celicorn. But Mayo has the heavy metal in hand as well, right? Just 2 mana, deal 2. Great way to clean up a lot of these early game units. Even though it's a little sad to be inefficient with that, I don't mind blocking with the Octopus. Maybe save the heavy metal. This allows you to play towards a pokey stick out instead.
Yes, we will develop the Norra here. Now, we can see both hands again. Wonderful. It was a nice time seeing only one hand. I think it's quite enjoyable sometimes because the surprise factor has a play in, but also seeing both hands and being able to analyze what both players could go for here, what the optimal lines would be, is also very exciting. And as you said, the heavy metal is gonna hit a pretty decent target, 2 HP, good to go, but we do still take that 1 damage from the last breath.
Now, Dududenunu is showing a lot of restraint here, not immediately going for Noxian Fervor. Norra already did put a portal in the deck, wants to save this for that over-the-top damage. Going for burn versus Nami, very, very strong strategy. Saving the mana as well to threaten Riptide Sermon. This makes it very difficult for Mayo to set up any sort of play of that nature. The gold card is going to scoop Norra instead. Both players on very slow, very awkward hands right now.
Yeah, definitely feels a bit weird right now. Oh yeah, we have so much burn in Dududenunu's hands, and the TF, well, came down pretty good. Took care of the Norra, is on curve, is threatening to hit for, well, 2 additional damage here. I'm not sure what Mati24mayo wants to play. We could try to go for an aloof. We would snipe a Sermon, but we are going to go for the card draw to maybe fix that awkward hand state of ours, and we find the 3rd Shellfolk this early on into the game as well.
Even being on 3 Shellfolk is hilarious to me, but fortunately, drawing means we're going to maybe get a portal next turn. We have the Otterpuss, another 1/1 to clean up that rear guard, and Nunu, sitting here with the full house, ready to go. So you're going to start throwing down some spells, and Mayo is now in this awkward spot, right, of I don't really have a way to answer this Twisted Fate. Nunu could just take some hits here and start keeping, just going to keep him alive as a win condition. Here comes Riptide Sermon.
And we take care of the arena bookie, because I was about to mention, like, once that bookie gets going, we can discard some of the pranks to try to draw some cards. Not sure if Mati wants to discard the pranks though, since we want to use them for the Shellfolk, but that arena bookie certainly could have amped up the tempo of Mati's hand for sure.
I think that Nunu perhaps has a bit of a read that Mayo is in an awkward spot and wants to get that card draw out of the way, right? Saying that I want you to continue to have a bit of an awkward hand and less tools to look at, because even though you want to save the pranks for Shellfolk, against Pirates, it's very, very difficult to play a Shellfolk safely to the board, and so Mayo wouldn't necessarily mind discarding those pranks, right? Riptide Sermon now responded with Noxian Fervor. You still get the Tentacle, you still get the Nexus damage, but Nunu's going to get 3 damage in response.
Yes, for sure. The Sermon coming down here, answered by the Fervor. I guess we're not going for Shell Folk this turn. Maybe we go for it this turn. As you said, there are a couple of things threatening it. However, the upside of Pirates, or the upside of the card being removed for Maddie's side would be that burn that will be dedicated to the Shell Folk won't be going to your face anymore, and that is a big plus. Now we can see.
Oh Lord, gets eyes on the double Noxian Fervor thanks to the prank, sees what's going on, but gets to steal one. Now things get a little bit dicey.
Yeah,
Riptide Sermon number 3 off the top for Nunu, just lets it rip. 2 more damage onto the Nexus. Makes this other tentacle even bigger as a 6/4, and now we have lethal presented with the Noxian Fervor. Whichever player is forced to put their burn on the stack first is going to lose this game.
And we redeveloped the Shellfolk. I think that this Shellfolk may just have been developed as a blocker. Yes, because Nunu now is unable to attack with the tentacle on his own, right? Because the Shellfolk would have just traded it. And yeah, it's a very, very kind of standoffish situation where neither player currently has a good line to go for lethal via board, but Nunu just has that Noxian Fervor in hand. And wait,
but the
pranks are making him too expensive. We can only play one this turn, and that means that Maddie buys himself a bit of time.
Yeah, Nunu not going to pull the trigger on the Noxian Fervor, has plenty of mana to float, and sometimes, like, this is a great example we've seen all the time with these aggro decks, is when you get to the late game, you don't have cards to play, you don't have things to spend your mana on, having something expensive, like with the Riptide Sermon, right, and these Noxian Fervors, you're more than happy to just chill, and hopefully just go wide.
I mean, hopefully just top deck a Decimate, right? At this point, that's all we need to win for Dududenunu, the legendary top deck Decimate that has won so many burn players the game in the past. Let's see if Dudu can try to recreate that, try to call on the heart of the cards, or if Maddie manages to just out-wide his opponent here. Goes for a aggressive swing right now.
Yeah, just forcing the trade. The tentacle goes into the Shellfolk. The Noxian Fervor's being spent on the 4 HP unit.
I think we just double respond with our own, right?
We have a group shot.
Oh, no, we're Bandle City Tellstoning. Wait.
Bandle Tellstone into Heroic Refrain for a little bit of
boosted
damage.
We have... No, we can't. We don't have lethal because then Dududenunu can play the second Fervor to counter our Fervor.
Yes, the Jagged Butcher still staying alive as a 3/1. So wait a minute. No, this is perfect because we now have the group shot to beat the Fervor on a 1 HP target, and then a 2-mana Noxian Fervor onto our Norra or... So what this would mean is that Dududenunu would have to Fervor Mayo's Fervor target, and then pray for a Decimate top deck. So yes. Mayo is going to force this right now.
And we will see if Dududenunu wants to go for lethal. If they have it, they have it. Or if we go for safety. And if they have it, they have it. And they have it. But Dududenunu is not dead just yet. He is living on 1 HP right now. The heart of the cards can still make all the difference. What do we draw?
I think this is fine. Now, if Decimate was the top deck, Mayo has the second pranked Noxian Fervor in hand.
True,
and that's going to be the surrender. Goes all the way down. 1 HP on both sides. What a game. Went from completely slow, awkward hands to an explosive burn game plan for both players.
True, I totally forgot that we didn't even have an answer for that Decimate. I just wanted to make things exciting, honestly.
No, there was a lot of stuff being stolen and shared and back and forth. It's hard to keep track.
And there were lines like the Bandle Tellstone Heroic Refrain line. I wouldn't even have seen that. I was like so tunnel visioned on those fervors, and Maddie
I would struggle to name the spells that are inside Bandle Tellstones. I'll tell you that.
It is Yordle Contraption, Heroic Refrain, and then the Poppy spell. I also don't know which one that one is.
Keeper's Verdict.
Yes,
I do know that one.
Okay. So we filled each other up. We managed to both name the cards that the other one didn't know. And yeah, let's see if game 2. Okay, looks like Dududenunu did ban pirates on Maddie's side, and Maddie now coming in with the Aphelios Lux here.
Aphelios Lux has a lot more healing, has a lot of staying power. However, Aphelios is incredibly vulnerable to Riptide Sermon. Dududenunu favored right now with the turn 1 attack token and a double 4 1-drops, my lord. But Rearguard going to open it up here.
Yes, the Rearguard Classic, standard turn 1. Also, you love to see your opponent have no blocker. And yes, as you said, Dududenunu's curve very, very low here, can potentially go extremely wide extremely quickly, and Aphelios Lux more of a slower kind of deck. We have a lot of early game units, but we really do shine the later the game goes on, and Maddie will have to get there to get the Lux leveled, maybe get the Aphelios rolling before we can feel comfortable, and if Dududenunu is just fast enough, then there's not much Maddie can do.
Yeah, there is only one copy of Radiant Guardian in the list. So even if the timing does line up, you just have the one angel trying to carry you with some single combats to double dip versus Noxian Fervor. Having only a single lifesteal target is never the way versus these Fervor decks. The onslaught keeps coming. 5 more damage hits through.
We also have some star shapings to heal ourselves a little bit. Star shaping, update me. There was a nerf that went down to 4 mana, 4 HP, didn't they? Yes, they reverted that, so now it heals 5 again, which is gonna feel nice for Maddie's side. You know, able to heal 5 HP for 5 mana. But the question is, these decks, these pirate decks, are able to deal a lot more than 20 HP in damage if they, you know, get going. And right now, Dudu looks like he's gotten going already.
Yeah, if you're behind on board, the star shaping is just going to heal you for damage that your opponent is getting ready to deal right away to you on an open attack. So the Aphelios comes down. There's no Dusk Petal Dust here. So not enough mana for the Crescendum or Calibrum to get a little bit of control of the board. It looks like this Aphelios is going to get traded right away. Eye of Nagakaboros beautifully timed here to reload and get a 6th attacker. Too fast and too furious for Lux Aphelios.
Oh boy, and yes, if this goes on, like if this game continues the way it has been going right now, we might be going to Tokyo Scarzig for a 3rd iteration of the movie series.
It's got to be the way. We've got Rearguard in play. That's 1 damage that you only need to just get access to, plus the Make It Rain. When you force your opponent to trade their board down, the Make It Rain is guaranteed Nexus damage. And now, Nagakaboros, for more draw, could just very easily find an Noxian Fervor or a Decimate. Really unfortunate for Mayo, whiffing on any early game. Just had a float Mountain Goat kind of idea. Wanted to see some Broad Wings, maybe some Guiding Touches, but it just was too little too late.
Yes, the classic float
How many 1-drops?
Yeah. I mean,
not like this.
We can count really quick. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3, that is 12 different 1-drops. 12 1-drops in Dududenunu's list here. So yeah, and we drew all of them, right? There were so many units on the board in like every situation. And we have a lot of lifesteal for Maddie, to be fair. We got the Golden Sisters, we have Severum, we have the Star Shaping, but do we have time? Yeah, right now, if we have any sort of burn, which we don't, this Golden Sister is going to get us some HP back at least here.
Wow. Finding a line with a lifesteal unit. So, because the lifesteal connects before the last breath, right? If, you know, Golden Sister attacks, and then we try to like chump it with Legion Rearguard and then Make It Rain on the Nexus, those pings don't line up quite the way that you'd like to. But I think that Dududenunu is far enough ahead that you can just trade into this 1-for-1 potentially. It's still 20 HP versus 6 HP.
I'm not sure. Go ahead, Scarzig.
I think that Nunu was thinking about skipping block there, just to not worry about a sharp sight or a pale cascade, to get even more lifesteal on the Golden Sister, but instead uses Eye of Nagakoboros to buff the tentacle and actually cover that +1/+1. There's 3 pale cascade in the deck, but only 1 sharp sight.
Yeah, and another line that I'm not quite sure why Maddie hasn't taken it is we have Severum in hand. We could have put the Severum on our Silver Sister and guaranteed us another 5 HP of healing because of the elusive attack. Not sure what Maddie was thinking there. Maybe tries to... Oh, I think we wanted to keep up Pale Cascades to play around Fervor, potentially. But that would have just gone face. I don't know. I feel like that's Severum.
Yeah, because you could chump block the Golden Sister and then just Fervor the target anyway, and then just cover both options.
Yeah,
where the lifesteal's just not going to hit through.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we didn't play Severum, but for now we are still alive. With that Star Shaping came in clutch, and our Silver Sister also still kicking, which means potentially we could try to Severum her this turn, or the next attack turn for us. So with the second, yeah, but we have Star Shaping, so we once again survive.
Yeah, I like that Nunu pulled the trigger on this Noxian Fervor. You know that Mayo is going to continuously float mana for the entire game to threaten the Fervor, and the longer you wait on it, the longer you are also, not using your mana efficiently, and so you just force the Star Shaping.
And you give your opponent more time to draw potential Star Shapings if they hadn't had one before, right? It's almost always the funny saying of, well, I just spam my cards because I don't want to give my opponent time to draw. But we find a Guiding Touch, which is even more healing. And Mati24mayo does commit the Severum here. Will get blocked this time around by the Spray Fin, but still is gonna be 5 HP of healing just coming in. And
Nunu doesn't overreact with the Make It Rain to cut off the Severum. Just goes for the Decimate. Yep, forces the Guiding Touch to cover that healing. And now we've got Zap, Spray Fin, Noxian Fervor. You get both options of presenting lethal once again and also denying the lifesteal.
Oh yes, this is it. We had just too much burn. We could still draw another Guiding Touch potentially, but no, it is not here. And yeah, on 0 mana, there's nothing we can do.
And the Radiant Guardian shows up late to the party.
As you mentioned, only a one-off.
These pirate decks are so comfortably ahead so consistently, and you can see that if you don't mind going later into the game, you don't have to worry about lifesteal in these matchups. Even if your opponent has face healing with Guiding Touch and Star Shaping, all that's doing, it's like we talked about it earlier, Rack, the way you use Frostbites to kind of just stabilize versus elusives. You're only delaying that threat. You aren't removing it from the board.
Yes, and if I did my math correctly, I believe that Dududenunu dealt a total of 36 Nexus damage that game, with all the healing coming through on Maddie's side. So that is wild.
And who knows if the Severum had come through on the Silver Sister, maybe tried to get a little bit more lifesteal, could have bought another turn or two. But now Nunu has to just close things out with this Ahri Bard. A deck that is going to play a very swarmy stat scaling idea, has a lot of card draw. Meanwhile, Aphelios Lux also trying to grind their opponent down using the lasers, using the Aphelios value. We might be in for a long one, Rack.
Yeah, this could definitely be a longer game if the Ahri, Ahri Bard, although kind of more of a faster paced elusive swarm deck than maybe, well, I guess Ahri Kenna was also could go on the fast side if it wanted to.
Oh my god. Mati24mayo finding the bully lie. Discards Radiant Guardian with the Spacey Sketcher in order to pick up a Serpent to take down the Disciple. Gonna get that card draw out of the way. Takes away a target from Ahri as well. Mayo has Petricite Broadwing to threaten the Ahri on the next turn. This could be a game where Nunu just runs out of steam right out of the gate, and then Mayo can just comfortably develop a mid-game plan.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, these first 3 turns looking really good for Mati24mayo. That Serpent getting rid of the Vestian Disciple, one of those key engines the deck has. And now we have to recall our Ahri. We don't get to draw anything because she's not a droplet, right? She's just an Ahri. We do have the Shadow Assassin, which is going to be one more draw, and the Sign and ready to go in hand as well on turn 6. But till we get there, Maddie is looking pretty comfortable right now.
Time goes on to Sign in, not the right target that we're hoping for. Now that we're on round 4, this is where Bard comes back online after his Origin nerf. Going to start putting those chimes in. The Broadwing going to get a lot of value. There's no Hookmasters as of yet, so Momentous Choice is not going to be doubled up, but still a fantastic defensive option if we can get there.
Yes, we do manage to recall the Shadow Assassin, which will give us some more draw. I don't think Dududenunu is gonna run out of cards too soon here. However, Maddie is currently kind of unpunished in his own game plan, and now going for a pretty big swing, and also once again threatening the Ahri, forcing something out of Dududenunu's hand.
Ahri has to stay alive here. She's the main source of value, and if you know your cards are going to get eaten up in combat like this, you have to keep bouncing them with Ahri to keep that train up and running. Shadow Assassin pulling a 1-drop and fixing the curve looks pretty good, but Lux now entering the fray to keep up this pressure. Now the lasers are going to come through and start zapping the Ahri and zapping these elusive units.
Yeah, I mean,
this is going to be a grind, but Mayo is just turning up the gas in this matchup.
I mean, hey, this is the Fast and Furious kind of first 3 films, right? We had Fast 1, then we had Too Fast, Too Furious, and now looks like we are in Tokyo. Ahri also, representing some of those Japanese spirits, right? We got the cannon is here with a beautiful skin equipped as well for Dududenunu. If I just can add that, I really like that Ahri skin. I think it's very nice. But yeah. Mati24mayo has the Lux on board, has 6 mana to spend, and is gonna try to go for a single combat here. I feel like it may also be a bit greedy in this situation, but we go for the Navori instead here, not the Ahri.
That is very cute, right? The Navori Conspirator, Nunu kind of wants to recall this because it has a great effect of just bouncing a card back, but Nunu can't really afford to do that because you need the blockers. And what this means is now we can just whiff the Dusk Petal Dust for that 6th piece of mana, or even a Guiding Touch here. To level Lux, get a laser, and now we have a much higher chance of the laser connecting on the Ahri, which is the real target all along.
Yeah, you kind of went for a fake out there. Pretty cool stuff. Do we have another recall? We do have another recall for Dududenunu.
You still take the 4 damage because the Final Spark does have Overwhelm. It doesn't fizzle, just loses its target and hits the Nexus instead.
I mean, maybe the Nexus was the target all along. Maybe we got tricked twice.
Plans within plans.
And now, I mean, the swing is also looking pretty good here. We got double Challenger. We got Lux entering combat here. Going right into the battle, not staying back and trying to sling spells, just getting in, getting physical, and forcing more answers out of Dududenunu's hand right now.
Yep, so this is just 6 HP threatened. Have to go for the homecoming here, and we know that Mayo has the 2nd Concerted Strike in order to make this fizzle. Has enough blocks, however, can live at 1 HP.
Yeah, we are living...
But yeah, it's just the laser's too much. We have Nopify, I guess, that can cover a laser, ironically, because it's 0 mana.
Yeah, and we are going to go for that. Hoko here get the draw. That could be punished potentially by a Concerted Strike if we want to try to go for the winning line. And yeah, Maddie's just gonna go for it. This would be the winning line. Do we have an answer? I believe we don't. No. Maddie takes game number 3, Tokyo Drift in his favor, and moves on and knocks out Dududenunu out of the tournament.